Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the council to order. Before I go into everything, I'd just like to pass on regrets from Councillor Hennick, District 8. She will not be attending today. And also, I'd like to make a proclamation. I, Warden Organ, do hereby proclaim that the month of January is Alzheimer's Awareness Month in the County of Victoria, and encourage all our residents to learn more about this disease and support those who are affected by it. Can I get approval of the agenda, please?
Madam Warden, I'd like to move that all references to timelines on the agenda be deleted.
We got a motion on the floor. Do I have a seconder? I'm going to make a second by Councillor McLeod.
Second.
A discussion. I'd like to make a comment on that, Councillor. Timeline is something that was brought forth in my first meeting to make the meetings run smoother. They've always been in the agenda, but just not noted. Our former warden had them also, but he didn't follow them. So we'll take it into a vote, but I firmly believe that we should have these timelines to make the meetings run smoother. If something else comes up on that we need to have more time on, we will make more time for that. But this is something that I do believe in. So I'll put it.
Just speaking in favor of the motion, in my 23 years here, the warden may have had them last time, but like you said, they weren't on the agenda, so really they didn't exist. I have never, ever in my 23 years seen the need for timelines at a council meeting. Some expert may tell you that it makes them more efficient, but like I said, to me, and you answered my question that they could be enforced. It's not quite the word you used. Watch closely, I said, or you said, and that they could be tabled until the next meeting. Well, that to me is just cutting off debate. So I don't see the need for them. It's something that, again, well, you know, we haven't needed them in over 20 years. Why do we need them now?
Okay, the timeline, I have a agenda from 2022 and it shows the timelines on it. If you'd like me to forward them to you after this meeting, I can do that. Or I can get Steph to find them and forward them to you. But they have been there. So I'm going to take it on a vote then. So all in favor of the motion? Against? Motion defeated. I guess we will not be having a timeline.
What was the count, Warden? We can't see the count.
Sorry,
6 to 1. We have
1.
a standing count?
6 to 1.
You said the motion was defeated?
No, I'm sorry, the motion was passed. I was defeated.
Oh,
The motion
okay.
was passed.
I thought you said the motion was defeated.
No, sorry. No, okay. So can I have approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
It was moved by Councillor Kerr, second by,
I second with edits.
second by Councillor McLeod with edits. All in favor? Motion carried. Can I get approval of the December 15th minutes, please? It's
Oh.
moved by Deputy Warden McLeod, second by Councillor Donovan. All in favor? Motion is carried. Can I get approval of the December 5th, 2025 emergency meeting of council, please? It's moved by Councillor Donovan, second by Councillor Kerr. All in favor? Motion's carried. We'll go into the presentations. Do we have Mr. Batiste in waiting for?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I don't see you. I'm sorry. We're apologizing today because we're online here, but welcome. We have 20 minutes for your presentation for and then questions. So if you're ready, you can go right ahead.
Okay, folks. Well, really, I'm here to listen to the council and
Okay,
their
there you are.
priorities. It's not really a presentation overall. I can give you kind of a general sense of where we are in the federal budget cycle. We've passed initial parts of the budget, which includes a brand new rink for BEDEC. This has to go to the Budget Implementation Act, and it has to go through Finance Committee. Usually it takes a little bit of time because the opposition parties will usually try to stall it a bit until they get something that they want, but it's very likely that it gets through and we'll be voting on it in the House, and hopefully having things like the Build Canada Homes, the Build Canada Strong Act for infrastructure, having important things that are in the budget around defense, AI, a lot of things around our sovereignty, some money for health infrastructure moving forward. And so that should be going forward, within the next few weeks. And we expect to start making we expect to start getting shovels ready for things in the spring. So this is good for a lot of folks, especially BEDEC, which, as you know, there was the rink in there. And so I'm here kind of just to get your priorities, to listen to what are your concerns. And I think that everyone knows that we're in some very fascinating, scary, and interesting geopolitical times, to say the least. No one would have told us 2 years ago that we'd be trying to create partnerships with China and Qatar and India as a way of diversification away from the United States, who seems to be unhinged at the moment in terms of their administration and what's going on down there. And our Prime Minister is continuing to be a beacon of light for not only Canada, but for other countries dealing with the madness that have been created by the rupture in trade. And so we just had a full weekend of getting us up to date on what are some of the things that we are going to be doing internationally, but also domestically. One of the things that our Prime Minister just announced today is that we've heard loud and clear about the escalating prices of groceries, and we are going to be introducing a groceries affordability act that helps people through what everyone knows as the GST. We will be increasing that to ensure that those who need it have the money for groceries and necessities. And that was announced this morning. And we're going to be continuing to look at how we can make things affordable for our community members, our Canadians, as well as trying to figure out how we can continue to build this country strong with infrastructure, roads, as well as our defense. And so I'm just going to open it up to you to hear what your concerns are and get a sense of what are the things that you're hearing and how the federal government can help.
Okay. Mr. Batiste, a list of questions were sent into your office. I don't know if you had a chance to go over them.
Of course, seeing an email, yeah, but I show up and kind of give you the overview. I'm not going to go into specifics because a lot of times I don't have the specifics. They're done through ministries and departments, and I don't have all of the answers to all of the questions from various departments, but I do take your priorities back to those ministries.
Okay, here's the list of some of the things, and I'll get the counselors to ask. I see Counselor Bourne has her hand up. Just one moment. The Celtic Lodge level of support, next steps, climate-related water security and rural committees. I think this is Counselor Bourne's. Housing, aging demographics and population growth, and coastal protection and climate resilience, and the federal role in tourism and Parks Canada collaboration. So go ahead, Counselor Bourne.
Thank you, MP Patisse, for coming to council today. I know I definitely appreciate the time that you are here today, and what a wonderful announcement for the Groceries Affordability Act that I think that touches quite a few people. So thank you for sharing that with us today. In just a very high level response, I sent in a couple of questions, more or less pertaining to climate related water security, but I think I wanted to get into a little bit more, if you can share anything with us, with housing. It seems like that's also a hot topic in Canada, but more specifically, what I'm looking for is something in very rural communities like ours. As you know, my district, it stretches all the way up through St. Anne's and through the North Shore. So it encompasses quite a bit of aging population, and housing is an issue. So do you have anything that you could guide us on what we could do as council to support housing initiatives? So that's the first part. And I want to get into if you have any information when it comes to coastal protection and what we can do as well. That was downloaded, as you know, from the province to the municipalities. So if you have any guidance or support or suggestions on that topic, I would appreciate it. Thank you for coming today.
Okay. And do you want me to go one at a time, or do you want me to hear from several counselors and then give an answer? If we do this one offs, then it might be more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, Counselor Donovan, I know you have a question about the Celtic Lodge.
Yeah, well, I've gotten many questions, and there's a lot of concern over the future of the Celtic Lodge. It appears that there's ongoing negotiations between Parks Canada and Gulf North to try to determine what the future of the Celtic is going to be, what it's going to cost, who's going to be responsible for that cost, and like I said, there's a lot of local concern, and not only local concern, but general concern over the future of the lodge. Can you shed any light on where it stands now federally?
Okay.
Go ahead. You can answer away.
Okay, well, I'll start with Rosella. Housing, we made a big investment in housing in this budget. It's called the Build Canada Homes. We're going to be, like I said, we're waiting for the budget to get through committee, and it's very likely that there'll be a large pot of housing money that we've asked the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, whatever he does, to have a rural lens on things from the Rural Caucus. There's about 20 or 30 Liberals that sit on the Rural Caucus that kind of guide our ministers in looking at things. And so this will be probably open for applications in the next few months, if not a few weeks, if we can get things done sooner through the House. In terms of coastal supports, they used to have what was called the Natural Infrastructure Fund. I'm not sure if all of the money on that is taken, but there are some things within Environment Canada. I don't know if they've sunset. I didn't see anything new in the upcoming budget for coastal protections, but that's something that continues to be discussed. In terms of the Celtic Lodge, what I've sat down with Gulf North, and one of the things that they're looking at is using some of the lands within the parks that for more accommodations, for more housing, for more lodges, and I don't know if they're going to be able to actually fix up the actual old Celtic Lodge because of the condition it is. But what they're thinking about doing is turning it over to Parks Canada and seeing if we can find a interested partner who's interested in partnering with Gulf North to take over a portion of that and either tear it down and build something new, or to find out how do you fix it. And so there's ongoing discussions on that. I don't believe that they have gotten to a place where there's consensus with Parks Canada, but I know that's an ongoing conversation, and I'm supportive of them continuing to build more accommodation space, because it's a beautiful property, and I think that we need to continue to figure out how to invest in it. And I think there are interested partners that are willing to partner with Gulf North to restore or replace the original building.
Thank you. Any other counselors have any questions or comments? Or I know Councillor Bourne, you had quite a few, but I will go to Councillor Matheson Lafort, please.
Yes, welcome. Good afternoon. I do have my mic on, yes. Okay. My district encompasses, one of the places it encompasses is Wadmacook. So given your role in treaty education, how can rural municipalities like ours collaborate with Indigenous community on shared priorities like tourism and cultural projects? That's one of the questions that comes up a lot. So I'd be curious what you have to say on that matter.
I'd say the best thing is to reach out to Chief Norman and his council and see what are the shared priorities. I know Chief Norman was very vocal in his advocacy for the rink as part of shared priorities, and he called me quite a bit to talk to me about the necessity for that. And him and Chief John Leonard Bernard, both of them were really big advocates on that. And so in terms of the shared priorities, I'd say reach out to them and talk to them about how you can collaborate, because I think that they're open to a lot of different collaborations, and they have a lot of big ideas around economic development, as well as I know that they've taken over portions of Breton Air, I think it is, and so they've got a lot of things around not just economic development, but emergency services as well.
Okay, thanks. We actually reached out, and for the first time we collaborated with them and had a presence during the powwow this year, and it was great. We had a booth set up, and it was a really great event, getting to meet everyone on that level. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Patterson, go ahead.
Thank you, Warden. Did I get someone else's voice there? Thank you, Warden. Welcome, MP Batiste. It's good to see you again. I'm just going to give a couple of congratulations here, and I think the previous councillors have brought up the issues that are front and center for us right now. And of course, the issue of infrastructure funding is still kind of out there too, because we are facing some growth now, which means we have to supply services to residents. So as we know, that can be very expensive. But anyway, I'd like to congratulate you, first of all, MP Batiste, on your re-election, because that was one of the ridings that I discussed across Canada with people that no one was really sure of the outcome, I don't think. So anyway, congratulations on that. And secondly, congratulations for setting up your office in District 5. I think, I could be corrected, but I think it's the first time a sitting MP has had a constituency office on Bullinger Island. And welcome. I can just drop in anytime and talk to Ann or David or yourself or whoever's there. I drive by 2 or 3 times a week, so I think it's a great location for that. And anyway, congratulations on those. And again, just keep in mind the infrastructure funding that and I know there's some major projects going across the country, but we'd like to get a little bit of the spoils from that too. Anyway, again, thank you for your time, and good to see you, like I said.
Thank
Good to
you,
see you,
Councillor.
Good to see you, Fraser. Thank you for that. And we have 51 billion in infrastructure in the Build Canada Infrastructure Fund. But I do have to say, every municipality that I talk to wants what I got for Bedeck in terms of a brand new facility. So I told them I can't get every single one of their municipalities that. And so, you know, there's a lot of my writing's quite large, and there's a lot of needs and wants, but we have some infrastructure in the budget, and luckily that you know, this is over 10 years. So I think that you know, when the actual applications come out, you know, you've already been successful in one ahead of time, but whatever the asks are for roads, health, water, these are things that you should definitely apply for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Water is something that we will be looking into. I'd like to correct you when you say that you brought the infrastructure to Bedeck. It's to all Victoria County. People take offense when you just mention just one community. We are all Victoria County. And also, we have a meeting with Wagmacook, and things are going great, and we hope to continue collaborating with them in the near future. So does anybody else have anything else for our MP here? Or do you have any final words for us? Oh, just one moment. We have our CAO, Ms. McCaffrey, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to note that I attended an online meeting with MP Batiste last week with other mayors, wardens, MPs, MLAs on the island. I think it was a really good touch point, and lots of ideas came out of that. And I wanted to keep reiterating that we are open for business, and what's good for one part of the island, like the announcement over in the Sydney area for the icebreakers or the port development there. There's likely to be spin-offs, and what's good for one is definitely good for the rest. So congratulations on the announcements of those as well. And we look forward to the next meetings with all levels of government.
Thank you.
Yes, that was actually, I really enjoy meetings where we're able to collaborate between the province, municipality, and Mi'kmaq chiefs. I think we have something special there in Cape Breton to be able to do those things. I think we need to continue them through collaboration. You know, I think a lot more is gained. I've been big, despite the fact that all of the MLAs in my riding are conservatives. We have a good relationship, and they call me and I call them, and we have an active stream of communication between us all to, you know, I think at this point in our country's history, with the threats that we're facing through our neighbors to the south, we know it's more important than ever to diversify and to build our economies, because let's be honest, we can't win a trade war with the United States, but we can survive one if we work together and build our economy together right now and be resilient. And that's why our Prime Minister is not putting all of his eggs in one basket. We're ensuring that we have trade relationships with China, with India, with you know, the European Union. We need to do our best right now to become less reliant on the United States, because we just don't know how volatile that country will become over the next few months. And we're seeing it every single day when we turn on the news, what's going on down there. I don't think I have to tell anyone, but it's scary times for a lot of people south of the border and north of the border when we're looking at everything that's going on. But we got to focus on what we can control, and what our Prime Minister is really good at is creating trade and creating economic opportunities for Canadians. And that's what he's going to continue to work on.
I do want to mention one other thing. It was brought up by Councillor Donovan in the past. There used to be a non-resident deduction, or sorry, northern resident deduction. It's a federal tax credit that is available. And I believe that in the past, it was given to members that were north of Smoky at least. We've done some research, and I'm thinking that it doesn't come down any, it doesn't even include anyone below Labrador, possibly in Newfoundland at this point. But it was something that was available to residents in Victoria County in the past. And it was thought that maybe it could be looked into again. As I'm sure you're aware from traveling around the roads that once you hit that mountain, you certainly are north. So just maybe if that's something that you could take back to have a look at.
What the Prime Minister and what the Minister of Finance have decided moving forward is that we're seeing that people, do need extra money for the groceries that they're paying, and there is additional costs. That's why this morning they had the GST and affordable groceries and necessities benefit, which
Yep.
will be a doubling of the GST starting in June, and it will take people over. They basically, instead of doing it by geography, saying that the people with the GST tax brackets who need it the most will get extra money, and those who are well off, they may not need it. That's where they, there was a lot of ideas pitched around on how we can make things more affordable. What they decided on was to give it to 12 million Canadians that needed the extra help for groceries and supports through this measure.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Donovan, go ahead.
Just a little further on that same topic. North of Smoky is, very remote by all standards. And it's not just groceries, but basically everything is more expensive north of Smoky than it is anywhere else on the island that I can understand. Even when it comes to building and for example, the price of a truckload of concrete is increased anywhere from $500 to $750 from the south side of Smoky to the north side of Smoky. That's just one small example. So yeah, I understand. I do get it with the GST reduction. However, I do. It would be appreciated if it was brought forward regarding the northern residents. The northern residents rebate as well.
Yeah, and so what the government decided to do, and they looked at different options, and this is one of the options they looked at, but they also understood that there are people in northern areas that are doing well. They're wealthy, and they may not need the extra dollars for groceries. So instead of giving it to all of the northern regions, including those with a lot of money, they said, we're going to base it on their tax filings and saying, who are the ones that need it the most at this point to ensure that they're not overly burdened by that. And I think that if you do things based on the evidence in front of you and saying, here's what the tax bracket is, here's the people who are going to help, I think it's a much better process than just saying anyone over a certain line, we're going to give everyone a top up, because some people don't need it. So I agree with what the finance minister did and the prime minister did on this one. We needed to help the people who needed the most, and it came down to 12 million Canadians that are going to be supported by that. This probably not me, but it's going to be the people who need it the most that are going to get the benefit, and that's what we're seeing right now. And what our focus was is ensuring that the people who need it are benefiting the most.
Thank you. Any other questions from any of the councillors or concerns or statements? Well, there's nothing. Thank you, MP Batiste, for coming. Hopefully we can have you again in person sometime. Sorry about the weather that we couldn't join, but anyways, thank you again for coming.
Absolutely, and it's great to touch base with you all, and I hope to do it again maybe in March after we get the Budget Implementation Act finalized. That's assuming that we're not going to go into an election anytime soon, or that we don't get invaded anytime soon. So let's fingers crossed that
Fingers crossed.
things will go well.
Okay, thank you very much again.
Okay, see you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
So next we have the Cabot Trail Relay. Mr. Parkinson, is he here?
There we go. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can see you. I can hear you and see you now. Dave?
Excellent. So technology is working in our favor today.
Yes, so you know the drill, 20 minutes and we'll have questions. We have questions or concerns afterwards, so go ahead with your presentation there.
Okay, so good afternoon and thanks for taking the opportunity to speak with me today. I'm here on behalf of the Cabot Trail Relay Association to request some continued municipal support for our long-standing and highly successful event. In 2026, the Cabot Trail Relay will be marking its 36th running, making it one of the longest running and most recognized sporting events in Atlantic Canada. It's not only a signature event for this county, but it's also has a proven track record and a proven driver for Cape Breton and the province of Nova Scotia economically. Following the 2023 event, the Nova Scotia Department of Sport and Tourism completed an economic impact assessment. In that assessment, and based on the data that we provided to them, they estimated that there was nearly $2 million worth of total economic activity. Of that, 1.7 million was in Cape Breton alone, which represent 86% of the total spent. There were 19 jobs supported, 17 of which were those in Cape Breton, and there were tax revenues to each of the federal, provincial, and municipal governments. Based on those numbers, I believe that we can demonstrate that the Cabot Trail Relay Race delivers a strong return on the investment from our different partners, and that this investment helps the revenue stay within Cape Breton. The interest in our event is strong and it continues to grow. It's kind of a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. In 2025, we had 101 teams initially registered that were from Atlantic Canada and across Canada and the northeastern US, and of those, 25 of those teams were new. In 2026, we've actually got 108 teams registered, and you got to keep in mind that we only allow 70 teams to run in the race because that's all that we can handle based on our race permit and our banquet. Of those, we have 26 new teams, and we actually have a team from British Columbia and another one from Alberta who want to participate in this event. With this sort of continued expansion of interest, it highlights the national profile. There's a significant word of mouth within the running community that takes on this event, and it spreads it, and people come from everywhere. They want to participate in this. They want to come to Cape Breton. They want to enjoy it and see what all the buzz is about. And the municipality has been a long supporter of the event for many, many, many years, and we truly appreciate that. We do, though, want to request for a multi-year funding of $30,000 for $10,000 a year, $10,000 representing the amount that was given to us last year. What that will do is it will enable us to know as we start to plan for the future year's events that we have that part of our funding committed. The race is quite expensive. The race with the tent last year, which is an anomaly until the new Victoria Highland Civic Center is constructed, we needed about $200,000 in order to run the event last year. A big part of that was the tent, and eventually the tent will disappear. However, as with everything, costs are increasing, and we need to plan for that. We are typically getting teams to commit this time of the year, but all of our bills come in the summer. And so having the ability to know what we have and therefore what we don't have gives us the ability to plan from year to year. We think that this request is a modest request, and it is supported by an event which has a very long track record of sustainability and of generating revenue for the county. So that's the end of my presentation on this particular topic. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Hey, councilors, do you have any questions there for Mr. Parkinson there? Go ahead, Councillor Bourne.
Thank you, David, for coming today for this presentation. And it's more or less just a comment, not a question, but as a past runner myself, I've heard right across Canada from friends that I know about the Cabot Trail relay. So it touches a lot of people, and it's very well known throughout at least Canada, where from folks, like I said, that are even trying to get a team to even get entered into it. So it brings definitely a lot of attention to the county, and I definitely appreciate that. So thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bourne. Deputy Warden McLeod, please.
Hi, David.
Hi.
I just, maybe I missed it. For the next year, but not this year, race, you're going to use the tents again, right?
That is the plan, yes, to put up a tent
Yeah.
again on the property. Whether we'll be able to do that in the subsequent years will be probably driven by what the construction activity is on the site.
Okay, so that will be enough money for you guys to raise, because it is not a civic center yet. So I know I think it's a modest aspect. It's just for, it's just for maybe this year and 2 years time, like how you do any numbers?
Yes, so yes, it will be enough. It is a part of the puzzle, and there are many parts. We actually went out to the runners when we were trying to decide whether the tent was really something we wanted to continue on with, because it's a considerable expense. The tent, everything in, probably cost us close to $35,000-$40,000. We went to the runners and we said, hey, runners, we're maybe thinking we're not going to have the banquet and therefore not have the tent because of the cost of it. What do you think? And they got back to us with a resounding absolutely not. The banquet is essential to the spirit and the camaraderie of the event, and they're willing to pay more money to support that aspect. So for the bulk of the additional impact that the tent is costing, we're actually going back to the runners and increasing their registration fee. The 10,000, I mean, Perla, would it be nice to have another 50?
Yeah.
Yes, it'd be awesome. But the 10,000 is meant for that, let's call it that normal operating need that we are looking forward to. And it's kind of what we've worked with in the past years, and it's a model that we know works. The tent is an anomaly, right?
Perfect. No, yeah, and as I think I can speak for my district, it's an excellent event, and we'd like to be, the people have to know that we support this, because it's a great 37 years right now. So it's a great way to start our season, and the people know about where we are in Victoria County. But okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Councillor Kerr.
Hi, Dave. Thanks very much for the presentation.
You're
As
welcome.
somebody that's pretty well worked on every event since it started, I fully endorse this run totally, because it's a phenomenal event, and anybody that's got a chance to go to that banquet and see it, it's an amazing event. It truly is.
Thank you. Yep.
And the whole county talks about it when it's going on, and it's really the official start for summer here, as far as I'm concerned. When they leave, the tourists are here. The last number of years, it's been a proven fact. So, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else have any questions or? Go ahead, Leanne.
Yeah, so to summarize, Dave, so you're looking for 10,000 commitment for the next 3 years, which is the same amount that council has been giving in the past.
Yes.
Yeah, so if council is in agreement, I would think that's something that we will take to budget, which I fully support. I think that I believe that it is the start as well. I just wonder, have you had any luck, or have you been approaching the other side of the island that benefits from the relay as well? And if you are going to other councils, just wondering if you'd like some more firepower from anyone on here that talks about the benefits of it.
Yes, we have approached Inverness County several times over the past couple of years. We get lots of supportive comments, but we never seem to get our foot in the door. We're not sure why. I will certainly take you up on your offer of more firepower, because I don't know if half the race goes through their county, but certainly a good chunk of it does. And they benefit from this event also. But we, for whatever reason, have not been able to get the visibility and attention there. So if it's okay with you, I'll be in touch, because perhaps you can point us in a direction.
Definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good. So if council is in agreement, we're gonna table this for budget talks. But it is a great thing for Victoria County. Okay,
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
and since you're on next again,
Yes, I figured maybe I should grab another hat, but I don't know. I don't have one in here, so I guess I'm out of luck there.
so you're here to talk about the Victoria County Health Professional Community Support.
Right.
Okay.
Hello again. Thanks for continuing to allow me to have some time in here. I do in this next presentation want to discuss healthcare professional recruitment and retention within the county, and why it's important to have a flexible local incentive funding that will allow us to continue to maintain our services through the attraction and retention of healthcare professionals. So first, a little bit about why I'm the guy having this conversation with you right now. Prior to COVID, there was some very specific things, if I'm not mistaken at this point, about the ER closure at the Victoria County Memorial Hospital. There were a number of public meetings. There were some council meetings. And at that time, there was sort of a general conversation, and I'm kind of going to call it a council request, but it maybe wasn't a very specific council wants somebody to do the following, as much as a general observation that we needed to do something. That something was to develop a committee that could help support recruitment and retention. So within the audience, I was there along with a number of other people, and a number of us all volunteered to form this new committee. So that happened just before COVID. We had a few meetings, and then COVID came, and it kind of all went up in the air, as did many other things. I was voted the chair of that particular committee. So I wouldn't say the committee's disbanded, but it's sort of parked somewhat. However, over the last number of years, there have been still the need for this committee to get involved with things. And I've had multiple occasions where I've been contacted by Dr. Hewen in particular to help facilitate things. I helped physically Dr. DiClemente move some of her belongings into her initial rental property. Others on the committee have been involved in developing welcome baskets and those kinds of things. So it's still active. It's just maybe below the radar, but I think that needs to change. As everyone on this call knows, the Buchanan Memorial Hospital and the Victoria County Memorial Hospital are critical to making this community work, this community being the county. We have 24-hour inpatient care. We have emergency and urgent treatment. We have diagnostic imaging. We have rehabilitation services, primary care, mental health, and addiction services. And all of those are provided by these two facilities. One of the challenges is that because we're in a rural community, we face ongoing challenges trying to both recruit and retain healthcare professionals, because in effect, we're in competition with the rest of the province, if not the rest of Canada. And often the bigger centers have more resources and more incentives to help promote their communities and retain healthcare professionals. I want to give you a few examples of some of the challenges that are being faced by our two hospitals right now. Victoria County Memorial Hospital recently recruited an X-ray technologist under a 1-year return of service contract. So when that commitment ends, there's a risk of losing this professional unless we have the ability to incentivize them to want to stay. Now, sometimes that incentivization might be make sure they feel a part of the community, make sure they get invited to go to curling, go snowmobiling, participate on a ride in the Amoeba or the WinStar, as it's now called, or something like that to make them know what it's like to live here. But sometimes that incentivization comes from financial support. We also know that at the Victoria County Memorial Hospital, there have recently been a couple of nurses who have been hired. Those nurses have started to take specific training that will allow them to be emergency room nurses. That training takes time and it takes money. And at the end of their service contracts, when we will have put the time in to get them trained for those specific services, we want to be able to make sure they want to stay at the hospital, because obviously the point of training those nurses in that role is to allow them to provide the service of an ER nurse when the ER can get opened at the Victoria County Memorial Hospital. This past summer, NSHA reached out to me and asked if we would be able to provide some, I'll call them door prizes for lack of a better phrase, for a rural family medicine recruitment conference that they held in New Brunswick. We put together some door prizes. The door prizes were awarded to 2 participants. We're now working directly with the head recruiter for the Eastern Zone in order to keep tabs on when these people might choose to come to Cape Breton, so that when they get to Cape Breton, we will be able to take the opportunity to hopefully maybe extend their stay by a day or 2, take them to different communities within Cape Breton so that they can see what Cape Breton has to offer, as opposed to just come and have a meal and go for a boat ride and turn around and go home again. At the Buchanan Memorial Hospital, one of the challenges that is faced up there is accommodations. There are accommodations that are available for physicians. Those came through support from the foundation and the county council quite some number of years ago. What there aren't, though, currently are supports for nursing, or say an OT, someone coming in, or a physiotherapist for accommodations. A lot of the accommodations up down north, as it were, in the catchment area around the hospital in Nils Harbor, are now Airbnbs. And they're frankly too expensive for a regular salaried employee to afford to rent them. One of the ways that this flexible retention type fund could be used for is it could be used to support, offset some of those costs from rent. So if we find a person that's really interested in coming to the area, but they can't find a place to stay, perhaps we can offset some of those rental costs, get them into an Airbnb for a short period of time while they have the opportunity to continue to experience the community and find other more permanent lodgings. So the intent of the funding request is to help reduce the staff turnover, support the stability of these essential healthcare services within Victoria County at both facilities, and try to reduce the risk of turnover when there's often contracts that are signed by new staff. We think it's a very good investment in the long term. What we're proposing right now is $10,000 for the 26-27 fiscal year. The intent being to see if that's the right number, see how it gets used, see if the results warrant the expenditure, and report back to council at the end of this fiscal year to see how it turned out, and see whether it makes sense to continue this type of a funding model in the future. So thank you. That's my presentation. Welcome any questions.
Thank you, David. Do we have any questions or comments from council? I know healthcare and retaining physicians, nurses, specialists is an ongoing problem in Victoria County. We do have a comment or a question from Councillor Bourne. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And I know I see you around the table at times with the committee for the hospital. So I guess that's
Yeah.
my question, because that committee is also working on the same priorities. And my question would be, the committee that you're on now that you are chairing, what is the name of that committee and who are the members?
The name of the committee, initially it was the Victoria County Welcoming and Recruitment Committee. But that was never formalized, Rosella, because
Okay.
it was sort of an ad hoc group of committed and interested members of the community.
Sure.
I have relied on, over the past number of years, I have relied on the help of with Nancy Harvey and Juanita McCauley. But there are others who were involved with the organization or the committee, but we haven't met. We haven't done anything in literally several years. We have responded to needs when they came up. So we can formalize this in some capacity if it needs to be done. I have no problem with that. But right now it is admittedly somewhat loose.
So how do we work with, because I mean, it seems like we have a lot of committees and I definitely think there's some great opportunities here. So I don't want you to think that there's not, but you know the roadblocks that we have because you've been in part of those meetings around that table. So how do we work with the other committee? I guess that's the question, or if there is a possibility. I feel like everyone's doing little bits and pieces, but no one's moving the needle. You know, so when it comes to recruitment or retention or potentially getting that emergency department back open. So as you know, I've been a huge advocate and sometimes too much. I have a big voice in that arena. And you know, we need to make sure it's done thoughtfully. And we know, like I can just share, I mean, with the hospital in Sydney, they already said, you know, when candidates come up, they're going to get them first. You know, they've made those comments. So I wondered, how do you work with that mentality? How do you work with when that is the need? Because they're in a really big need there as well. So how do we make this work so that we can bring new physicians to the local areas, both here and also north of Smoky? I think I just need some more substance behind that, how we collaborate.
Sure.
And then going back to you had mentioned the foundation, you know, can they be part of this? So can everyone work to be part of this to move it forward?
I think the short answer is yes, everyone could and should be able to work part of it. It's right now there are silos, unfortunately, and I'm not sure why that's the case. And
Right.
I've been sitting on the committee that I'm on with you since
Yes.
it started. And it's a very complex situation that we're all trying to manage. The foundations, the foundation in for Neils Harbor, the Buchanan Memorial Hospital Charitable Foundation, they're involved with this retention and recruitment piece, as well as with what I'll call the more traditional bricks and mortars and equipment purchase piece. The Foundation for Victoria County Memorial Hospital is more rooted in the bricks and mortar equipment based approach because that's what they were asked to start with, however many years ago when they began. On the committee that you and I sit on, that started out being a committee that was how do we get the ER opened, to now moving into something that is slightly different. You know, what prompted me to want to do this was Sarah Marie O'Toole, who's the main recruiter for Eastern Zone. She said, "Hey, Dave, can you guys get a door prize?" And I'm thinking, well, I can't say no, so I better say yes. And then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I went out and I drummed up some door prizes and I paid for them with my own money. I knew I was going to get reimbursed because I had talked to Jess. I wanted to make sure that there was some path here, but it led me to think, well, what happens if these people come here and all of a sudden they want to stay a few days? If there was the ability to just say, yeah, we can invite you down here and stay a few days. I'll sort of, when I first got on the welcoming committee, I really didn't know how this was supposed to work. Through a connection with Dr. Tim Woodford, I reached out to the chair of the hospital foundation in South Shore Regional Hospital. And I asked, how does all this work? And he said, well, we had a physician arrive as part of one of those recruited things that takes place from NSHA to their hospital, maybe expressed an interest, maybe not. And the foundation then, because it is the foundation there as well, doesn't mean it has to be here, but it was. They actually then paid for this physician and their partner to come, all expenses paid, out to that region, spend a weekend, not just, take them out for a nice dinner, but take them to people's homes and get them to meet people. And that physician decided to come and relocate to that hospital. When I was talking to Chrissy Hawley with the Buchanan Memorial Hospital, she said they have a new physician who's a 0.5 at their hospital and a 0.5 in Sydney. They want to keep a 0.5 in Sydney because they want the exposure to more potentially complicated and different healthcare needs. But one of the biggest challenges is always housing. And Chrissy brought that up to me specifically. So how do we compete against the pull to the bigger market? We make them want to live here. To me, how do we make them want to live here? We do more than just give them a free dinner. We do things like say, we want you to live here. We're going to help you stay here for the next year by supplementing your rent so that you can spend time here and actually see what this community is all about and grow with it and understand it. And with luck, that exposure will allow them to go, yeah, this is awesome. I mean, I came from Ontario. I came from Toronto. I went from 2 million people on a Thursday and arrived here 2 days later to 900 people. And here I am 33 years later. So it takes time, but we have to find a way to produce the time. And that's where I think now, is it a joint effort with all the committees? Yes. When I first started on this committee, there was talk of working closely with Buchanan Memorial Hospital. COVID came and honestly, everything just kind of fell apart. Well, now I think it's time to restart that and figure that out. Does it make sense for us to get amalgamated into the foundation? I think maybe it does. Again, though, that's a conversation that will have to take place with the foundation. But in the meantime, there's going to be a random phone call at some point, and they're going to want something, and I don't know what it's going to be and when it's going to be, but without the ability and the flexibility to do something with it, it's difficult. Now, what I'm not saying is give Dave Parkinson $10,000, although I kind of am. I'm saying that this group needs $10,000 as a starting point. Everything will be completely tracked and documented so that council can know that it's not being frivolously used and can adjudicate whether it had a benefit in future years.
Thank you so much for that. That's definitely answers my question. And I truly, truly appreciate how much passion and dedication you have towards this topic. And if you need anything for me, like to help with the committee, I'll be the first one to put my hand up with that. So bravo to you. I think this is excellent. And, it's a great topic. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bourne. We'll go to Councillor Matheson Lafort and then to the Deputy Warden. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Dave. Thank you for coming. I'm
Thank you.
probably one
You're
of the
welcome.
few people who have no clue who you are, so I'm meeting you for the first time. I was just going to ask, I think you answered some of my stuff. I was going to say, can this be framed as like a pilot program, so we can so it can be very time limited and strategic. I think you already mentioned that you
Yes,
would have
yes.
clear review points. So that's
Yes.
what I was wondering. And just making sure you delineate between related to support, but not core compensation. But yeah, I was
Absolutely,
definitely
yes.
thinking about the whole, having it be a pilot program, because so then it can be reviewed. So it could
Yes.
be multi-year, but then not indefinite. Just, that's all. These are just points I was thinking about when you're presenting, but
Okay. Yeah, that makes
So-
sense. Yes.
anyway, that's all I really had to say. I was just trying to see how something like this could be framed so it would be time limited and strategic. So
Okay.
anyway, okay, thank you for that. I won't bother you anymore. I know Councillor McLeod needs to speak, so thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Go ahead, Deputy Warden.
Thank you, David. Just for the record, for the new council, we worked with Dave a couple of years ago, around in 2018. We set a budget for $5,000 at that time, and we used 22,709.73. We use it for recruitment, I believe so, and for some the pharmacy Graham in that time, he went to some conventions and tried to recruit and have present Victoria County. In 2019, 2020, we put a line in the budget for $20,000, and they used some of that money. And by COVID, after COVID, we leave the 20,000 in the budget, and they only use in 2021, 2022, an amount. So we work with Dave and Juanita and Nancy. So we work with them with that committee. So that with that they brought us, they help us with doctors and some X-ray technician in North. So it's not just doctors. In the beginning was just doctors, but now it's all health professional community support, because we have in each department some retention. So just for the record, I just want to let know, council, we work with Dave about this, because I know the concern about just give the money, but that is very, they work with administration, and that goes very clear. Never we have any questions or any red flags of it. So. And I don't know if Leanne wants to speak about that. And yeah, so I just want to put it for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Go ahead, Leanne.
Yeah, I will just say just a couple of things. So you're correct, Deputy Warden. We have in the past had a separate budget line for doctor recruitment. We worked with Dave's group in the past. They were slaying it. They were going and going to all the conferences, bringing people back. I think it was more project related also and conference related. I think there was in the past a provincial grant maybe that came out for the types of things that you're talking about, Dave, for like the smaller suppers or
Yes.
door prize sort of things. So that could be a way that council gets involved in those types of things. We do have, or we're involved in 2 different houses down in Niels Harbor.
Right.
I know that the warden's house, not Warden Oregon, but the former
Parks,
warden's house, right beside the hospital, that's usually physician, but I think the other one might be for other healthcare professionals. So
Can I speak there? It's usually a doctor that's usually
Is
in
it?
there. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to ask a couple of questions. So I was looking at your report. If we were to write a check, or I'm assuming council could take this out of their municipal projects, which is where that sort of lump sum is now sort of not on its own line, but included in that in the budget right now. Out of your report, if we were to write a check, what would be the name of the group that we would write it to? Which I think kind of was like what Councillor Bourne was asking.
Yes, and I think what is appropriate is that we formalize this. So this ask is, I suppose, about the ask in principle. We need to formalize it. We don't even have a bank account. So I would not be comfortable taking the $10,000 and sticking it into my own bank account. So we would have to do something in a formal nature in that regard. Another way to approach this, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't, is if we know that the money is available and we know that it has flexibility attached to it, in that it's our money as a committee. And if we deem that there's a need that makes sense, and that need is going to be $1,542, we can go spend it, and then we can pull that from the fund. If that's another way to do this as well. Or write the check, and again, we'll get a formal bank account, we'll get a formal name, we'll get all the other paperwork that's aligned to it, because as I said, it was more of a collection of like-minded volunteers that started this, and then COVID messed it all up.
Okay, and you're considering this to be a joint sort of ask between Buchanan Memorial and Victoria
Yep.
County Memorial?
Yep, for the county, yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Deputy Warden, did I see your hand up again, or did you have any other comments, or?
No,
Go
I
ahead.
did, but Leanne answered. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah.
Okay. So we can take that back, do budget talks and to make sure that everything's formalized with you, Dave, before. I mean, I think it's a great project, and I think all counselors agree with that. Oh, go ahead, Deputy
Yeah,
Warden.
well, if you want to put in the talks budget, but the money is there.
Yes.
Before the money went to the reserves, but for principle, if I would like to make a motion to give the $10,000 to the health care professional retained when they have and formal the account, all that. Once they have that, give the money instead of just wait until March. So I think that will be seen in a month or in 15 days, whatever. So I just want to make a motion for approval for the $10,000 for the community retention and recruitment.
Okay,
for
there's a
Victoria
motion there's a motion on the table from the Deputy Warden. Do I have a
will
second?
that.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Any discussion? All in favor? Your motion is carried. David,
That's
we'll
terrific.
we'll
Thank you
put
very
that
much.
money to one side until you get everything
Okay.
in order for you.
That's
Okay?
great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have already, as I said, reached out to Chrissy Hawley. She's given me the contact information for the one who runs this part of things for the Hospital Foundation in Niels Harbor. So I'm going to coordinate with Emmanuel is his name. I'm not sure of his last name, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for coming today.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We're going to take a 15-minute recess, and then we'll come back to our council meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
you.
Dave.
Bye.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Before we go on to council discussions, I'd like to ask for a in-camera session to talk about real estate after this meeting. Okay. So first thing on council discussion is FCM Rural Development Action Plan. Councillor Patterson, you're up.
Thank you, Warden. I circulated this earlier, and I again circulated this morning, I believe. It's a communique from the FCM and wanting us to participate, I guess, in a whatever the title was. Again, I don't have it here in front of me. Rural development, whatever. And I, if you look through it, if you got a chance to look through it, the first part of it, it talks about rural challenges, and I just want to read a couple of them. Rural realities need to be consistently built into federal initiatives, and I think we saw an example of that this morning with MP East. You know, you can't forget the rural areas. Rural communities know what best works for them to promote development. Reliable internet and cell service is limiting the development of rural communities. So I mean, that I think says it right there. If you did get a chance to look at it, and you have to dig down a bit to get to the survey. I think you have to go through 2 or 3 different pages to finally get to the survey, and I got there last night. So I would like to move that we participate in this survey. I'm willing to take on having a look at it and determining what might be done with it. I'd like for other people to have a look at it too, but I don't know if I'll have to find out if you can save it and distribute it to other people before you submit it. But anyway, I'd like to move that we participate in this survey.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder, please? Second by Councillor Donovan. Any discussion? All in favor? Against? Your motion is carried, Councillor Patterson. So
Thank
you're
you,
going
Warden.
to take care of that.
I just want to add, if anyone wants to dig into it a bit deeper, I think the deadline is February 6th, so we do have some time before we have to submit it. So if anyone wants to, like I said, have a look at the survey, go right ahead, and we can maybe coordinate our efforts or whatever. Thank you, Warden.
Sounds good. Okay, number 2 is the Theater Bedeck Phase 2 funding. I'm not sure who brought this to the table. It's just.
Yeah, so I
Go
did,
ahead,
Warden.
Leanne. Okay.
Yeah, so I was online for the last meeting, the first portion of the December meeting. And I heard that Theater Bedeck had made an ask in there, but there wasn't any real action that came out of that. So I reached out to Hannah and Christy on what their ask was, and to summarize it again in one paragraph, which has been sent out to all of council. Their ask is very time sensitive. And so I believe that they are looking to see if there is something that could be done. Again, there was an ask for, and again, there's other areas of funding that could come if council was on board with advancing the next pieces of funding to them. Their ask was $225, which, sorry, $225,000. That wouldn't even come to council if it was $225. It was $225,000. Council has already committed funds to the first phase of this project. This is phase 2.0 or 2.01. For them to move forward to get their other funding, they do need other funding. I've reached out and asked Alex in her role to see if there's any way that this could fit into the current budget. And there are a couple of projects that we were working on or that didn't get fulfilled within this current budget year. So there would be funds, or there could be funds available. So I'm bringing that forward for council to make a decision on, because again, it is a time sensitive one, which is holding them up. So just want to put that back on the table here to discuss.
Hey, councilors, do we have any discussion on, does anybody want any discussion on that? Questions, concerns? I don't know if anybody I put forward. Go ahead, Deputy Warden.
No, just a comment. Yeah, after the presentation in Theater Bedeck, I know it's very important for us as our districts combined there, and it's a place where people can gather. So it's in a discussion. It's money there. If I can put motions to help Theater Bedeck with the support of the $225,000. Depends of the if the money is there for this year. And because with that, as Leanne say, they can have more funding. So I'm in favor about that.
So, Deputy Warden, are you putting a motion forward for the 225,000?
Yes. And we can, if not, we can discuss, but yeah, in the motion.
Okay, is there a seconder for that?
Right.
And ask again. Deputy Warden, we do not have a seconder for that.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to discuss anything else about the Theater Bedeck? Ask.
Warden, last year they put a proposal through that was supposed to span over so many years.
I forwarded the proposal too, and they
Yeah.
asked for the $100,000 for year one and 75,000 for year two, that I think that we agreed upon, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead, Councillor Patterson there.
Thank you, Warden. Leanna, just a question for you. You mentioned in your presentation that it was time sensitive.
Yeah.
Could you give us a clear details on that?
Yeah, their other funding is contingent. As you know, we're coming up on March 31st. There's probably federal or provincial funding that, as you would know, Councillor Patterson, happens at those times of year, sometimes in a budget year. And so this funding it's not cost overruns, but I think that it's other areas on a design change from somebody who knew from a different designer that was more involved in this sort of type of designing, let's say.
Thank you.
In the theater field is what came from.
Okay. I'm just trying to find our notes where we approved. Go ahead, Councillor Bourne.
Thank you, Warden. I think what happened, Josh, last year was we did approve the first amount. The second amount was supposed to come back to council for another approval. We might have maybe an appetite at this point that we put a motion to agree to the 75 and bring the rest to budget, just because we've refused so many offers until it went to budget. I think we need to set a good example to do it that way. But that might be an option, that the motion would be to approve the 75 and bring the rest to budget time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bourne. Deputy Warden.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand council wants to be in the budget, but as Leanne say, if this is going with this budget, the 2025, well, this before March, and I remember Hannah was saying they need to put this application now to get another funding, and I think they have a COA as well. So if we leave that to budget time, that is March, April. And that is the time, that was time sensitive, if I understand that. So that will be late. So yeah, we know that we have the money. It's not about money, but it's time sensitive. And as I say, a future, it's something infrastructure we are putting for our county, for our south, for the county, no matter what is going to be done eventually, but we have this opportunity for some extra money from the province or the federal, because it's the end of the budget of the fiscal year. That way, I'm in favor.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Deputy Warden. We have a question from Hannah. Are you there? Or comment or? Hannah, you're muted. I see you have your hand up. She says she can't turn her mic on there.
Not sure if Jessica has the ability to do that.
Oh,
Josh.
Josh just said it should now, he said.
Yes,
There.
hi, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Hannah. Go
Sorry
ahead.
about that. It was saying only select participants, and now I suppose I'm a select participant. Yes, hi. Sorry. This is Hannah. This is here from Theatre Bedeck. I've just been listening in on the meeting. I just thought, if it's all right, I wondered since there was some question about the increase ask, which I think is a very reasonable question. So I appreciate the question. I wondered if I could speak to that. Would that be helpful? But I don't want to interrupt the flow of discussion.
No, you go right ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, so when we spoke on the 15th of December, we did want to speak to this. The shortest possible answer I can give for this, of course, is that we have all experienced massive amounts of construction costs since that initial costing was done. But yes, as Leanne sort of spoke to, in the course of construction during that first phase, things were discovered that that would be required for the space that we weren't previously aware of. But I think the biggest thing that we kind of came to was working with a designer who is going to truly ensure that the space maximizes both its economic impact, but also its use cases for all the ways we want to support this community, and the way that these designs are coming together. And I hope you all remember the renderings from our presentation, is to ensure that it will be busy and used by live theater, as a movie theater, as a concert venue, but also for meetings and conferences and all kinds of other events like that. I don't want to take too much of your time in terms of discussion, but I just wanted also you to know that we're here. Christy and I are both here if you have any other more specific questions about those numbers. I can also share my screen if that's helpful. And also just want to say thank you for having us on your agenda today and having this discussion.
Thank you, Hannah. Do we have any other discussion from council or questions? Nothing? Okay.
Warren.
Go ahead, Deputy Warden.
So what's going to happen?
That's up to council. I don't know. It's up to council. What do they want to do? If you want to table it, do you want more information brought forward from Theatre Bedeck?
Well, the information is clear.
Do you want to follow our phases? I see it here. The Theatre Bedeck, $100,000 for phase 1 renovations plus $75,000 for phase 2. That was a motion. That was a motion that was approved.
Can I ask a question to Hannah?
You go right ahead.
So Hannah, so what happened? I know they want to put the 75,000 in just to give that. The rest, what it imply for you delays in this year?
Yeah, thanks so much for that question, Perla. So, there's a myriad of things at play here for us. There is some critical structural work that has to happen at the theater, and it's linked very intricately to fire separation work. We were granted occupancy back in July by Eastern District Planning on the understanding that we would complete some critical fire separation work between the lower level and the main level. But he was willing to delay that since it would be part of some structural work to support the weight of a seating bank and a lighting grid. So we had always slated that for this spring, and we have a contractor standing by, but there is of course a risk that we will lose the contractor if we can't move forward. So that's part of it. Another part is that the 225,000 amount was kind of come to because it represents half of this critical structural and fire separation work that, in order to not have to basically double pay, needs to kind of happen all in one go. And we have a COA essentially standing by, willing to sort of move forward with the project. But ACOA, as I'm sure you know, will never proceed without at least one other government partner, which is why we were hoping that that could be Victoria County. So the most succinct answer to your question is that without any funding to kind of move us forward this spring, it's true that technically our occupancy could be at risk without the fire separation work. We could lose our contractor, and essentially if we're not able to move forward to keep transforming this space to make it the economic driver that we hope for it to be, it does mean that we have increased costs in a building without an ability to earn more revenue through all of the rentals and touring shows that we are hoping to bring. And it's just further delaying our chance to have this impact. I do just want to note, since of course we've been in this meeting, I did hear Dave Parkinson speak to doctor retention. This is something we think about a lot as well, about as a cultural center. Doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals who are looking to build a life are looking for ways that their life can have texture, and I think arts and entertainment is a big part of that. So that's just because I know that this was just spoken to, so I felt I should mention it, is that it is actually, as well as being an economic driver, we do consider the ways that we could have this impact as well. Does that help, Perla? Let me know if I can clarify any of that.
No, thank you. Yeah, it is. The entertainment for the county is very important, as it will be good to have it a CAP, people living, because we don't have this kind of stuff for children and youth. But for you, thank you, Hannah.
Thanks, Perla.
Go ahead, Councillor Kerr.
Yes, Hannah, what portion of this money you're looking for is going towards the fire breaks?
Yeah, so I wish, is there a way for me to share my screen? Or I don't know if I have permission for that, because I could show the numbers that I have here. I won't spend too much time on this, but I'll just see if I can. But oh yes, I think it's going to let me. I just have the, oh, I don't know if it's working though. Can anyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep, it's there.
Oh, can you see this? Okay. So what we're talking about for 2026, you'll see here in yellow. This is sort of a summary number here of 448,320, and that is net of contingency. Just to note that. So I have a further breakdown I could find somewhere. We work quite closely. Dillon Consulting are the engineers who work with us. So they have done a Class D costing on this work. So this is their number of 448,000. In terms of the fire separation itself, I would probably need to go and find that Class D costing to find that specific line item. But 448,000, there's some electrical, there is the structural and the fire separation as well. And just to, no, I lost my train of thought there. So yes, I'm sorry, Jess, I could find that, it was just not in the neck. And then I could send that on to council if that was of interest for sure. I would have to find that Class D costing from Dillon Consulting. Because just to clarify that it's all quite, because what it is, it's tearing down the ceiling between the lower level and the upper level. So it's tearing it down, and then there's putting in sort of the structural supports, but then there's also and then when you close it back up, it's putting in the fire separation part as well. I think Leanne has her hand up.
Yes, go ahead, Leanne.
Yeah, I do. And so I just want to remind council, you've been in support in the past. Chances are you'll be in support in the future. We've been supporting this group for several years. It is for structure within, it's not for putting on the shows. It is for infrastructure within the community. One of the things that was on your survey that you answered last week was one thing that we've heard over and over. There's nothing to do after 5 o'clock, or there's nothing to do after 6 o'clock. And this is a way to get that. There is a lack of meeting spaces. within the community. This is another one of those. So one way, you know, maybe you say you fund this, but then you don't fund any future ones or something along that line. Maybe it's like I feel like this group, it is a bigger ask than what was requested in the past. But we're turning down other federal money that could be available here to help get the building back in the shape that it needs to be in. But either way, it is a council decision, and I think that the theater group is looking for or need to know either way, so that they could start to look for other options if that's the case.
Okay, council. I just know that there are going to be other organizations coming to for big asks too, but it's up to council. It's your decision. Go ahead, Councillor Carr.
If the money is available, I'll make the motion to go ahead with it.
Okay, there's a motion on the table from
Second it.
Councillor Carr, second by Councillor McLeod. Any discussion? All in favor to give 225,000 to Theatre Bedeck?
Warden, can I just ask a
Okay.
question before you take the vote?
Yep.
As Councillor Kerr stated in his motion, if the money is available, do we have that money available in special projects budget or anything like that?
I think that's what
Leanne said.
Leanne said. Leanne, can you come back on and let us know for sure?
Yep. I may even get Alex to talk on that, as that's her role.
Yes,
Because when
please.
we saw this ask come in, her and I had a discussion on it. So maybe Alex, just some thoughts on where you thought this could come from.
Hi,
Hi.
Alex.
Wasn't expecting to turn my camera on, but here I am. So at the last audit committee meeting that we had, I highlighted a couple of line items where we had budgeted project work. More specifically, it was capital related to washroom infrastructure around the county and money specifically allotted to housing initiatives. There were no concrete plans as of that meeting, and as far as I know right now, we don't have anything in the works for spending that money prior to March 31st, which is quickly approaching. So that is money that is in the budget that is not being used in this fiscal year. If the money is not spent at all, it would go into the reserves and then could be used for other initiatives in the future. So there's an opportunity to put it in the budget this year and have the whole thing balance. But at the same time, if council wishes to spend that money on those line items in the future, it would go to the reserves and then get used in the future.
Thank you. And hearing the whole discussion, I'm prepared to support this motion. And I think the points that were brought up by Hannah are very valid. And I think maybe Warden, you mentioned it, or Leanne, people say there's nothing to do. Well, this provides an evening's entertainment, and that hopefully will keep people here a lot longer, or a little longer anyway. A meeting place for the community, and so on and so forth. So anyway, with that said, I will support the motion.
Okay, there's a motion on the table and we have a seconder. So all in favor? Against? Okay, the motion is carried. We'll find the money. Thank you for that. Okay, next is council reports. We'll start with the deputy warden.
I have a question about the CA report. We say it right now as well. I don't know. They give us instructions like the CEO report, send it.
Yeah,
and
if you have
District
questions, you
2.
can, if you have questions on the CAO report, you can do it in your council.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I just want to, after the trail is approved for the ATVs for the spring, I think I have this request before, just to remind to move the gate, the transfer station for the access for the ATV when the weather is permitted. I don't know, they're going to put a new one or they're going to move that. What is the plan for that? And I think Dan is coming for the trail update, so maybe he can do that.
Yes.
Explain me there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one. Well, the season is coming, so the visitor center, the buses, the parking. I think I asked around a couple of months ago about we are talking with BAPTA, the co-op, for that parking. But the tour buses are coming and the main street is a mess. So it's another year. Wonder if we have a plan or who's in charge. Like we need to know because season is coming and we still not having any plan for that busing. And I asked around October, I don't know. I asked to the MO about the emergency plan for the Victoria County. I see in your report the REMO. Is that the information that will be for emergency plan that we're going to do?
So the REMO is actually a
Yeah.
whole other group. It is a
Okay.
regional EMO organization. We do have an emergency plan in place. It's been
Okay.
in place for several years. We
Yeah.
haven't exercised it we haven't exercised our own individual one in the past. We have been doing
Okay.
EMO exercises as a
Okay.
municipality. There is a provincial EMO resiliency conference happening Wednesday and Thursday of this week. But once our REMO is in place, that will have a new emergency management staff that will be looking after, let's say, Cape Breton Light, for municipalities outside of CBRM, all the other Cape Breton Island municipalities. And we are looking to revamp our emergency plans and plan out several different scenarios, because as we all should be aware that emergencies are becoming faster, more furious, and in more extremes. The latest thing that they're talking about is in relation to Councillor Bourne's concerns, the drought that this province is going to be under in years to come. So there's lots of different areas that we need to look at for emergency management, and it's going to become more and more a part of our daily lives.
Yeah. And they would say that have like application that we are applying for that, or the application Light is doing it. Demo is doing, because they say October 2025 to December 2025. So we applied, or maybe it's something wrong in the website, but
no. So
was very.
We did apply and we did receive the funding. We just heard the other day. We heard on, I think it was Friday, that we received REMO funding it's a region. It's not funding for us individually.
Oh, okay.
And so, yep, we're taking next steps. We're meeting Tuesday evening to discuss next steps on what we're going to be doing with our REMO funding. And first step of it is a small, short, hopefully quick turnaround consultant's report on what a REMO should look like. And then getting boots on the ground after that.
Okay.
As you all know, we do have our own EMO coordinator at this point. that coordinator will be working under this new Remo.
Okay, and with that, a couple councils meetings ago, I asked about if he couldn't check that video from Sussex about it was like emergency plan for the community. So they have a nice video to tell the public how to be prepared if he wants to go in YouTube and do the emergency plan Sussex. He can have an idea about if maybe something the communication can be up to and work with him to make an emergency plan video for the public. So that's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, next stage, well, not next
As well
stage,
as
but
next.
stages included in there is not just getting staff up to date, but yes, letting the public be aware and getting them trained so that it's not all listening for media for what to do next or stay in place. So, yep, take your words very seriously, because we all need to figure out what next steps are for whatever different types of emergencies that could happen and practice them. So it will be also be getting the community engaged and wanting to take place, which sometimes is the harder piece.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. And about your CEO report, it's a few points, like now we're doing this way. Talking about John Street, that you're looking for the budget. About that, if we go through do John Street in a scenario, before they do that, is no better talk to the village if they're going to fix the pipes first? Because if we pave and all the pipes are bursting all the time, why, we're just waste the money there. So will be maybe
So that that guesstimate, I'm going to call it, or ballpark estimate there, is for bringing the road up to provincial standards.
Yeah.
So that's not talking about the pipes in the ground. That's the road.
No, yeah, that's the village. But like we pay 50-50, right? The public works pay 50 and we pay 50. That's going to be that way?
That would be J class road. This is not considered J class road yet. So this is all ours.
Oh, okay. Okay. You say about the water rate study need to be booked. So I think it's it's a great idea. Book it now.
We got in your queue. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I would like to have some information for the outreach work from maybe a presentation from staff in COW. So what this project is going to work, I think is it's Cassandra's in report. They have the information for the outreach work that she's doing. And if you can.
Cassandra, did you say?
I think it's Cassandra. I think it's the outreach work. And maybe for COW, that will be good. And the transit in Inverness, when you say the ridership numbers, meaning is it drivers they're talking about?
No, I mean, how many people are taking the buses?
Like they have issues, is slow riding, big riding?
They don't have the numbers. When I was speaking with them, I was saying, like, we don't hear a whole lot of the numbers either, but they have a hard time from their administration getting the numbers.
Okay, so you don't know. Okay, so the issue is about riding. How many rides, not drivers?
Rides, yeah.
Okay. And and then about the EDO, so we have to have a conversation about that. I don't know if we could say something in COW, and so there's some items there for COW, and I have for COW to the ADCP. We were in the meeting, so I think the orientation and information session for council will be a great idea, as you mentioned. So we can put it in for COW as well. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. We'll go to Councillor Bourne.
Thank you. I was waiting for District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm going by your faces on the
You
screen
are.
today.
That's great. Thank you so much, Warden. So in District 4 report, Englishtown Ferry update as of December 31st, 2025. The Englishtown Ferry is out of service for its 5-year retrofit and will be unavailable for about 3 months. Residents will be kept informed of any updates. Road conditions, maintenance, and safety. I've received concerns about road conditions, snow clearing, and salting. These have been forwarded to Public Works. The Kelly's Mountain camera, which many residents use to check road conditions, is currently out of service, and I flagged it for repair. And I believe there's also a camera up on Smoky that might need to be addressed as well that's not working. With the ferry out of service, traffic on our local road has increased. And I urge everyone to slow down, drive carefully, and watch for any pedestrians on the side of the road, school buses, and winter hazards. The local detachment of the RCMP is aware that there has been some reports of speeding and some reckless driving, so they will continue to monitor the situation, and they've reached out to the department as well to try to keep an eye on things. I just wanted to report quickly on the Dave Aucoin Memorial Hockey Tournament. A big thank you to all the players, volunteers, sponsors, and spectators who helped make this first annual tournament a success. And of course, the funds raised went to the Victoria Highlands Civic Center redevelopment team. I also want to acknowledge the St. Anne's Gaelic College Comfort Station. As we know, this comfort station is open 24/7 for public use, and it's much needed for people and folks to be traveling through District 4 and all the way up into north of Smoky. Proposed, so I do have a couple of things here that will lead into some small motions. Proposed paper shredding event pilot project. A resident suggested hosting a community paper shredding event to securely dispose of sensitive documents, prevent identity theft, and reduce environmental impact. I propose a pilot with 2 locations, north and south of Smoky, at local police station parking lots in collaboration with the local police and community partners. So the motion is, I move that council direct staff to organize a pilot paper shredding event with 2 locations, north and south of Smoky, in collaboration with the local RCMP stations to provide residents a secure way to dispose of sensitive documents and reduce waste.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Carr. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
That's a great initiative. Like that.
Yeah, I think so too. And it was actually done in some other municipalities. And I thought, especially for the seniors, Leanne, we have a lot of seniors that have questioned what they do with their tax forms or old information so I thought it was a pretty cool idea and not too expensive.
That's great. We
Wonderful.
will certainly look into that. Yep.
Thank you so much. Counselor access to printing. So council and committee materials often include detailed reports, maps, bylaws, and attachments. Reviewing all of this on a screen can be challenging, making it harder to take notes, organize information, and fully understand the material before meetings. Providing access to a municipal-owned printer and necessary consumables would allow councillors who find printed material helpful to prepare thoroughly and engage more effectively in council business. This would be an optional and integrated with existing municipal equipment such as the councillor laptop. The goal is to ensure councillors have the tools they need to review materials efficiently and make informed decisions without any personal cost. So the motion would be that I move council direct staff to prepare a report outlining options, cost, and policy considerations for providing councillors access to a municipal-owned printer and necessary consumables to support review of council and committee material as an optional as needed basis.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder? A seconder by Councillor Carr. Leanne, did you have a question? Or
Yeah, I just want to give an update on that. Councillor Borna brought that forward a couple of weeks ago, and we've done some work on that. So
okay. Do you?
Thank you.
So if you want me to talk about it, yes,
Sure.
we have reached out to other neighboring municipalities, other municipalities across the province. What they do is they will buy counselors a printer at the beginning of their term if they are interested in that. And then if you need paper or supplies, contact the municipality and we can get it for you.
Wonderful. So do we just put this through as a motion, Leanne? That's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even know. Well, I guess you should finish the motion,
Yes.
but that is what we thought would be a good place to end on that. So I don't know if you need the report on it at this point.
Okay, we could just remove the report from the motion.
Okay, there's motion on the table. We have it, and we have a seconder. So all in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Thank you,
Thank
Councillor
you so
Bourne.
much. I just have one more, and this might need some potential questions or feedback from staff. So the last thing I have is for cell phone and internet allowance policy change. So councilors incur recurring monthly expenses for cell phones and internet service, which are necessary for the conduct of council business. Currently, councilors are required to submit receipts for these costs, which can be redundant and time-consuming. Considering these expenses are predictable and ongoing. By removing the requirement for monthly receipts, we aim to streamline administrative processes and reduce unnecessary paperwork. So this would be the motion. The motion would be that I move that the current policy regarding counselors' cell phone and internet allowance be amended to remove the requirement for submitting monthly receipts. The fixed monthly allowances will remain as follows, which is $35 per month for cell phone expenses and $45 a month for internet expenses. Counselors will continue to report these allowances on their monthly expense reports, and the amounts will be reviewed annually to ensure they remain in line with current market conditions and the CRA guidelines.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Matheson-Lafort. Go ahead, Leanne, for discussion.
Okay, so I just want to bring up a point that some counselors' cell phones, which we never thought could happen, but some were under the 35, but still got the 35. So I think that the allowance should say to either the max of what the cell phone bill is or the $35. And then just want to note that make it be aware that you're probably not signing up for a new internet. You probably had internet before. So this is supplementing the cost that you had to your internet in the past. And then also just making you all aware, currently you get a T2200 for being able to deduct those expenses, but that will not be happening with the reimbursement of those expenses. So your T2200 will be changing.
Right. So I guess the question is though, that because we have this allowance and it is a continual, like a monthly allowance, that doesn't change. I guess that's really where I'm coming from, is it just more or less redundant to have it like with a copy of a receipt or?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my point was that we paid out $35 when the cell phone bill, I think it is right now a max of $35 or I think it is an allowance of $35, but it didn't say a cap on it. Maybe you don't want a cap. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that there's some that have cell phone bills that are under the $35. So we're actually reimbursing more some months than what the cell phone bill was.
Okay, Councillor Matheson-Lafort.
It's not that simple for some of us. Some of us have post-pay and some of us have prepay. I don't have a monthly plan that I pay after the fact, so I load money onto it all the time. So I'm never going to get a statement that shows after the taxes. I'm going to have to provide my credit card statements that show what the total is. So if I just give a screenshot of what my monthly charges is, it's initially going to look like it's under a certain amount. But on my credit card statement, it's over that amount. I guess my point is, how many points of documentation do we have to send in? I just don't have a clean receipt one-off of sending it in. Just can make it difficult and complicated sometimes, depending on the type of cell phone plan you have.
Okay, I'm just wondering, for those people that don't claim it, will they still be getting the
They will, they'll
deduction?
get the deduction. Yep.
Okay,
They'll get the form for the
Yes, that's what I
deduction
mean.
to allow the
Yep.
deduction. Yep.
okay, council, there's a motion on the table. We have, oh, go ahead, Councillor Donovan, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Warden. Yeah, I really wasn't aware that that was even a thing. Then again, I forget to put in my expense reports all the time anyway.
Right.
So yeah, I guess it is a thing. There's some form you're supposed to fill out or whatever for that, is there?
The expense report, yes. My only point was that it would now be considered an allowance, which is not a reimbursement. So that's the difference. So by putting in the allowance, I believe an allowance without the receipt is a taxable benefit. That I'm not 100% sure.
That
But
sounds
I
about
would,
right.
yeah. So there could be other consequences that go along with that by not submitting that. So that may be a paper that you may want to get. That may be a paper you may want to task staff with writing and coming forward with.
Okay, so I will amend my motion to ask for staff to come back to help support this one way or another to see what we need to do when it comes to the expense report and the monthly expense report and what we need to add as far as a receipt. I only brought it forward just to make it easy, not to create any tax implications or problems. It was just the.
That's not
But
how
I
all things go.
I do appreciate the feedback, and anything you could provide to us, that would be great. This is not an urgent topic.
Okay, so we will look at preparing a report on that.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
I'm going to put it through a motion there first. The motion is amended. Who seconds? Council Cart, are you okay with the amendment? Okay, so all in favor of this motion, the amended motion? Against? Your motion's carried. Okay, staff will bring back a report for that motion, okay?
Thank you so much. My district report is over.
Okay, Councillor Matheson Lafort, go ahead.
Thank you, Warden. Okay, I have breaking news. The Little Narrows Ferry is currently out of service as of now due to heavy ice in the channel. I just received that message from David Grant. So this new ferry, it's usually ice in the channel or wind that will take it out. So today it's ice in the channel. People will be notified via Facebook when it is back in service. Okay, now I'm going to go into the Wayback Machine and talk about stuff that happened in December because it feels like it's been pushed off a few times. I'd like to acknowledge our Shining Lights event that happened in Little Narrows, the fundraiser on the December 22nd. Many thanks to all the volunteers, the corner crew for the music, the fire department, the ferry captain crew, and everyone who contributed so generously. The point of the entire fundraiser was to raise money for one of our local food banks. We managed to raise $1,835. So thanks to all the family, friends, and community members. Your support, is going towards a great cause. And to piggyback on that, the 2026 Polar Bear Dip in Iona was also a huge success. Thanks to everyone's bravery and perhaps questionable sanity, they raised $585 and collected 12 bags of food to support the local food bank through the Iona Fire Department. And keeping with the theme of the importance of the Bear Food Bank in our area, I would like to acknowledge the recent passing of Michael Anthony McNeil of Iona. He was a dedicated volunteer with the Bear Food Bank. His loss is deeply felt by his family and the community, because I think we all know what it's like in the volunteer world. It takes a lot to get people in, and they're there for life. And when you lose them, it's a big gap. So on behalf of council, we extend our sincere condolences and appreciation of his volunteer service. So I move that council authorize the preparation of a letter of appreciation to the family of the late Michael Anthony McNeil in recognition of his volunteer service with the Bear Food Bank.
There's a motion on the table. Can I get a seconder, please? Second by Councillor Bourne. All in favor, or discussion first, I guess? Okay, all in favor? Against? Your motion is carried.
Okay, thank you. I have a little more. I'm gonna do a motion roll here. First, I have a question. I'm not sure if we do. Do we have a current policy or bylaw either drafted for our cancellations around winter weather? I don't know if this is a question for Steph, if she's here. Is there a current policy or bylaw that's been drafted for how we handle cancellations?
So that wouldn't be a bylaw. So that is just, we actually
policy.
did just come up with a policy. Yep.
Oh, okay, then I would like to move that council direct staff to provide us with the draft of the policy for handling meeting cancellations or postponements due to winter weather, which would include the authority, public notice, rescheduling, and record keeping for council's consideration.
Oh, you're talking a council change policy.
Yes, exactly.
Rather than administrative.
Cancellation. Yes, that's what I was saying. So if we don't have one of those, I'll change the motion to say that I move the council direct staff to draft a policy for handling council meeting cancellations or postponements due to winter weather, which would include the authority to do so, the public notice, the rescheduling, and record keeping for council's consideration.
So it just so happens that we are in the process of drafting a council procedural policy where that does take into account going virtual. So that is in the works.
Okay, so then I can switch it back to the original one then. Basically, I just want council to be able to have a coffee and to be able to review that draft for our consideration.
Yep, you'll be getting the whole council procedural policy in relation to how council sets all of their meetings.
Okay, so then we don't even have to make it a motion. If it's going to happen anyway, it's in the works, then
Yep.
we can take the motion off the table. Then we don't have to have that as a motion.
Yeah, I would expect that staff will be bringing that to a committee of the whole sometime before the end of the year. I was looking at one version of it today, so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you then. That's perfect. Okay, but Warden, I do have one last.
You go right ahead.
Okay, this is more housekeeping that has to do with stuff from Cal. I thought it might have been put on the agenda originally, but I didn't see it on there. So I move that council accept the recommendation of the committee of the whole to establish a CAO evaluation committee consisting of Warden Organ, Deputy Warden McLeod, Councillor Patterson, and Councillor Donovan to begin examining the framework for evaluating the Chief Administrative Officer.
Okay, there's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder? Second by Deputy Warden. All in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
Okay, thank you very much, Warden. That would be it for District 1 today.
Thank you very much. Councillor Patterson. You're muted there, Councillor. Yeah.
There, that's better.
That's better.
I have an email I want to read. It's very short. It's regarding tax account number 07940.
I'm going to stop you
One-
right there, Counselor. That's probably something to go in camera about.
On they want interest waived.
That is,
Yeah, well, that's
Okay.
financial, right? So I would rather we take that up in camera.
yeah,
Okay,
we don't usually,
Give
or
out that
we
information.
shouldn't talk about, personal identification numbers or tax accounts.
okay, that's why I didn't want to use the name, Leanne, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So we can do it in camera. Thank you.
Yes.
That's it, other than the snowfall and MP Batiste setting up his office in Bulladry. Everything else is going well.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. Councillor Donovan?
There we go. Thank you, Warden. I don't have a great deal. Ski Lodge, as I look out the window, well, it's closed today because today they groomed their snow. It will be open again tomorrow. It's running well. Parking lot's full over there all the time. Everybody seems to be having a great time. I will never downhill ski. They have started up with their Sunday afternoon jam sessions at the Smoky Recreation Center. Going well. Unbelievable the amount of local talent we have that is, I can't say undiscovered, but maybe not doesn't get the limelight it deserves, because there are a lot of talented musicians in this area. Other than that, let's see, daycare center still is not open, and last update I got was that it's still looking like mid to late February before it will be open. And that is if all goes perfectly from this point forward with regard to inspections and meeting the regulatory specifications that they have to meet. Other than that, winter is doing what winter does.
Thank you, Councillor Donovan. I have just a little short report here from Councillor Hennick. Just gotta find it here. She's had many complaints about the road conditions, plowing, salting, etc. She has reported it to these concerns to the proper channels. Also, she had reported several street lights out that need to be repaired or replaced as of January 15th, and these have still not been repaired. So she will look into that when she gets home again. So, District 7's concerns. Get my notes. Also, I've had, like most of the other counselors, had complaints about the roads. I urge all our residents to contact Mr. McDonald by email at or by the phone number that you get at 1-844-696-7737 or at steve.mcdonald@novascotia.ca. I mean, I will still take complaints, but hearing from you is also good. I had the privilege of attending 2 Young at Heart socials at St. Andrew's Parish Hall on Wednesdays. Great turnout, lovely time. Please watch for upcoming posts. Carla is doing a great job at it. There will be a meal. Last week it was chili. The week before that she had a great homemade soup. So there will be a meal and that's on Wednesdays from 1 till 4. And I've also received reports that the channel is blocked again at South Harbor, which I'm going to bring up a motion for that. We're diligently working alongside Leanne and MLA Timmins and also the DNR to get a permanent fix for this. It's an ongoing thing, so we'll see how that goes. Also, there's a senior and middle school girls basketball tournament on Saturday, January 31st. This is in memory of Clayton, Oregon, and it starts at 10 o'clock. There will be 3 games each for the contestants there. So come on out and show your support and cheer on your local team. So that's it for District 7 right now. So we will go into. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to mention, ask you about, Leanne. And in your report, we had a leak in the Neils Harbor water tower.
Yeah, we did. Yep. It's plugged up. It wasn't a cause for concern for the public. It is plugged up and we will be having more of an assessment of it in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I go back to Councillor Patterson? I've had my knuckles wrapped by other staff. I was wrong to tell you that that was an in-camera thing. I didn't realize that it was going to be about wavering of interest. I thought it might be something else. Then I kept going with that. Councillor Patterson, you were correct to bring it out in council. So you may as well go forward with it here now.
Go ahead, Councillor Patterson. Wow. You got our apologies.
Okay, I won't give out the account number because that can be looked up easily, but I'll just read email. The person writes, I have a statement with interest for taxes on properties in Victoria County. We did not receive a bill last year. It was sent to the wrong PO box. We had twice earlier requested a change in address and it did not get recorded. I realized when I didn't get the bill. So basically what I'm saying is through no fault of their own, they end up getting charged interest. And are you ready for your socks? You got your socks on. We just spent a certain amount of money. It's $170.06. So I would move that we waive the interest fee on this tax account.
Can I just stop you there just for 1 second? We probably have Alex who can just give you the ins and outs of maybe how the process would go, or and I think you do have to give the PID number if it is to be a motion in council.
Okay, yeah, Alex, okay.
Sure, yeah. So our current policy says that it is the responsibility of the property owner to make sure that they get the bill. We send out 12,000 property tax bills every year. They do not all end up at the right spot. Sometimes when it's an address change, they can be contacting the wrong organization to make that address change, because there's property valuation services, there's us, there's property online, which is the land registry office. So sure, things do get missed. Our policy does say that it is the responsibility of the property tax owner to make sure that they get the bill and that they pay it on time. And even if they don't receive it, the onus is written that it's on them. But the policy also says that the only organization or the only authority to write off interest in these situations is council. So it does come back as a decision of council. And if the motion is made, I think just reading the account number would be sufficient to do that. Maybe the property tax owner too. I don't think in this situation there is the risk of it being a matter of confidentiality, because it is the assessment role is public record essentially. So I think you probably would be safe to say both if you were making that motion.
Thanks, Alex. And I agree with your statement that, you know, some responsibilities on the homeowner, but what I'm reading in her email is they requested an address change twice. And I'm assuming she says they contacted the office. So, and I understand you're saying that it could be, I called the tax office. So, I mean, that's pretty straightforward to me, that she called the tax office in the municipal building twice to change her address and it didn't get changed.
I mean, I don't even know what account you're talking about specifically. I mean, I'm very confident in saying that any call that comes through, our staff are doing their job to a T to make sure that it gets done. If it was a miscommunication, perhaps, sometimes with address changes, what can happen is a property owner can own 10 properties. They call up and they say, I want to change the address on account 1, 2, 3, 4. We go in, we do that. And in our system, it's not always that the one customer is connected to all the properties, because some properties are owned by Alex Redden, some are owned by Alex Kara Redden, and it's not always that clear cut. So sometimes properties can get updated once and we don't necessarily catch all 10, for example. But I mean, I do want to say that if someone called and made the request, I'm very confident that staff took the action that was asked of them.
So Alex, could I give you the tax account number then, and you could investigate further, see if that's the case?
Sure. Yeah, I think
Okay.
if you want us to come back with this specific example, we'd be happy to do that.
You want the number now, though?
Yeah, I don't have a pen in front of me, but
I know,
can you
that's
let
noticing.
here, let me write it in my phone.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it.
Okay, Leanne's got it. Thank you.
Okay, 079 40 181.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you very
I
much.
just, I think in
Yep.
these situations that there's always the two sides of the story, and I think it's good for us to be able to give our side of that story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay,
you.
anyway, you'll have a look at it. Thank you. Thank you, Warden.
You're muted, Jackie. Me telling everybody to turn on their mics. Counselor Patterson, are you making this into a motion or are you just asking for information right now?
Just to further look into it. I don't know if
Okay.
there has to be a motion or not. Does it?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And I seen Counselor Bourne, you had your hand up, and did you want to ask or chime in?
No, that was actually the question that I had, was that do
Okay.
we just look at the other side? And also, do they need to come to council? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding that. I thought folks had to come to council to present their case, or is it okay that we act on their behalf?
I think in recent past, we've asked them to come to council when we disagree. So if we look into this situation and we said, like, we feel very confident that we did all we were supposed to, and they still disagree, then we always provide the property owner the opportunity to come to council and state their side and potentially get a motion that is in their favor.
Okay.
Great,
Okay.
thank you. That was just for clarity, just for that I knew. Thank you.
Okay, we have Counselor Carr, your district.
It's been quite quiet in District 3 just
there you are.
thus far in January. The roads are a concern. It sounds like that's county-wide. We're getting lots of calls over the plowing, how rough they are, you name it, we get it all. Anyway, Knox Hall is holding a family games night on the third Friday of every month. Everybody's invited to attend, and they've had it a couple of times, and their crowds have been good, and people are having a great time there. And there was a high school basketball tournament on January 9th and 10th. The girls team from Bedeck Academy came out victorious. Congratulations, girls. Job well done. Bold has a community produce market bi-weekly. This is a great market with wonderful produce and cheaper prices than in the grocery store in a lot of cases. This is also open to the public, and I encourage everybody to go and check it out. And I also have a couple of motions I'd like to put through. I'd like to take 1,500 out of my budget and donate it to the Bedeck Volunteer Fire Department.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder for that? Second by Counselor Bourne. I know this is going to be all in favor. Your motion is passed.
I also have another one for the Bedeck Lions Club for 1,500 to go towards the Lions Club Island project.
We have a motion on the table. Seconder, Counselor Bourne. All in favor? Against? No one. Your motion is carried.
Also, St. Mark's Hall, 1,500 to go towards their needed repairs.
There's a motion on the table, second by Counselor Donovan. All in favor? Motion carried.
And a last one for Knox Hall for 1,500 for their roof repair.
There's a motion on the table. Can I get a seconder? Second by Deputy Warden McLeod. All in favor? Your motion is carried there, Counselor.
Thank you, Warden.
Thank you. Committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Okay. Being none, I have a motion, like I stated before with South Harbor, the channel, it blocks and it affects many homes, flooding their basements and everything. And I am working with our MLA, Diane Timmons and DNR, Mr. Morley, and with Leanne to try to find a permanent solution. But you know how government works with land and everything. But so I would like to make a motion that we as a county authorize hiring a contractor at the maximum cost of $2,500 to open the channel in South Harbor, which is blocked, causing flooding to local residents. This is an ongoing issue, and we are working on a permanent solution. Deputy Warden, you have to do the rest there, since I made the motion.
Okay. The motion is on table. Second. Councilor Donna Matheson. All in favor? Discussion? All in favor? Motion, contrary?
Counselor Bourne.
Question? Okay.
Sorry, I just have I completely agree with this, but I'm just questioning, like, just where would the money come from? Is that just out of the general account? Is it coming from a specific account or?
I think it's just gonna, I just asked for it to come out of our general account. So if Leanne wants to chime in there, I spoke to her earlier about this. And I told her I was gonna bring this to council.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Leanne? Yep. You're good?
No, so that would be a municipal project. Municipal council special project, I think the account is called.
Okay, so all in favor? Contrary? Motion passed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Now that there's no other motions, so we're going to go into camera to discuss the real estate issue. Oh, first of all, sorry. Jessica, is there any questions from the public about today?
Yes, if anybody wanted to raise their hand, if they wish to ask a question, they could do so.
Before you get to there, Warden, you also had correspondence on there on the agenda.
No, I don't have correspondence on my agenda, but thank you for. I printed off my agenda today and I don't have, but anyways.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I do.
Okay, correspondence.
Correspondence is a standing agenda item.
Oh, sorry about that. Good thing I have you guys looking after me, right? Correspondence. I know myself, we did receive many Christmas cards and holiday wishes from other municipalities, and I read every one of them that we did receive. So that was all my correspondence. Do we have anything else there?
Anything that that we've received, we've forwarded on to you.
Okay.
And it will be in your council package.
Okay, so I don't see any questions concerning council today. I'm looking So with all that said, we'll go into camera.
I believe you need a motion to go into camera and
That's
in
right.
camera.
Yes, can I get a motion, please? To go into camera. So moved
Make a
by
motion.
Deputy Warden. Can I get a seconder, please?
I'll second.
It's by Councillor Donovan, all in favor? Motion is carried. Okay. Okay. Since we moved out of camera, can I get a motion for the recommendation talked about in camera, please?
I move the
Yeah,
recommendations.
Thank you, Deputy Warden McLeod. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bourne? Discussion? No? Okay, discussion. Sorry. All in favor of the recommendation? Against? Motion carried. Thank you. So we are going to end today. So this meeting is adjourned.